All right. Good evening, everybody. The time is 6:02. This meeting of the Fern Bluff Municipal Utility District Board of Directors is in session. Roll call of directors. All directors are present with the exception of Director Stemko. Director Barnes, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this evening?
I sure would. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Director
Okay,
Barnes.
bring it up front. We'll put it in my desk. Take it away. The class is done. You can have it back.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right. This portion of the meeting is for citizens' communications. We have two citizens that would like to speak this evening. Just want to remind everyone, after you step up to the podium, start speaking, you've 2 minutes to address the board. Can't really interact with you. We can only speak to things on the agenda this evening, but we do want to hear what you have to say to us. So with that, I would like to call Wendy Martinez to please step to the podium and address the board.
Hello? I don't think this isn't working.
We got you.
I'm sorry.
It's working.
It's recording.
Hello, my name is Wendy Martinez. I live on Klamath Falls. My husband and I were sued by the MUD over a custom fitted car cover in January 2023. The judge ruled in our favor, agreeing with our defense that our deed does not restrict car covers. Judge Brushmiller ruled in our favor on March 28th and awarded us attorney fees, including a contingency amount of $30,000 to be paid to us should the MUD appeal her decision and lose. In the April meeting with the 3-2 vote, this board voted to appeal the decision made by Judge Brushmiller. Director George Sabatino, Jessica Stemko, and Mark Smith voted in favor of appealing the judge's decision. George Sabatino, you justified spending even more of our neighbors' tax dollars, in this lawsuit by claiming this MUD board needed answers as to why they lost this case. Well, George, there are several less expensive ways you could have that answer. You could read the court transcripts, which would eliminate that your attorney, Zach Evans, and his wife had nothing to present, which would make a car cover a violation of the deed. Nothing. Your attorney had 21 days after the judge's ruling was made to ask for the findings of fact, which would have made clear for the board as to why they lost this case, but they failed to do so. Perhaps you should ask your attorney why he didn't ask the judge for the findings of facts. Since this MUD board refuses to be transparent with the taxpayers of this district, I felt compelled to come here today and let the people know that not only did the judge grant our motion for summary judgment to dismiss these baseless claims against my husband and I over an alleged deed violation, she also awarded us our attorney fees and a contingency amount of $30,000 for responding to this appeal. This litigation has been ongoing for a year and a half, and this MUD board has now hired their fourth attorney to push an appeal claiming the judge made a mistake in her ruling. This issue over a simple car cover, which is allowed in our other two HOA neighborhoods, but allegedly not in the non-HOA neighborhood, has been going on for over 5 years now. I would like to think that we have more concerning matters to address within our community and wiser spending of our tax dollar. I can think of 100 ways to better spend the district's money. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martinez. Next up, and forgive me if I don't say your name correctly, Linda Favre? Okay, thank you.
To the residents of Fern Bluff through its board. In July of 2012, the Board of Fern Bluff claimed rights to your property, but not with the vote of the people or by an act of the legislature, the only ways they could have legally done that. Instead, they passed a resolution that gave them the power to trample on your property rights. They have been imposing restrictions on properties in this district that are not stated in your deed ever since. The board by resolution took the power of an architectural control committee for themselves so that they could determine what was unsightly. They used that power to target residents and demand compliance with rules they made up, like car covers. One family fought back. Your tax dollars were used to harass a young family with 2 small children for the last 5 years. 5 years of relentless harassment, including snapping pictures of the property with the children outside, a steady stream of letters, the enforcer citing articles in the deed that didn't exist, watching, waiting. And then a year and a half ago, your board voted to sue this family over a car cover. On March 28th in Williamson County District Court, the presiding judge ruled in favor of this family, granted their motion for summary judgment, and denied the MUD's claims against them and their property. The judge further ordered the family recover all reasonable and necessary attorney's fees and court costs they were forced to spend to defend themselves in the amount of $14,500. The judge further ordered conditional attorney fees and court costs to the Young family if your board were asked to ask for a new trial or appeal her ruling, including up to the Texas Supreme Court, an award to the family in the amount of $83,500 when they once again prevail. And they will, because the facts in the case have not changed. The MUD board cannot take power that is not explicitly granted to them by the legislature, and they cannot alter your deed without your vote. That would make them kings. They are not imperial. The people have a right to know what their government is up to.
Thank you, Ms. Furman. All right. Any other citizens to speak? No? Okay. Let's move on. I believe our landscape person is here. Would you like to?
I am a landscape person, yes.
Would you like
Also a human.
Understood.
I'm just kidding.
Just barely.
That was good.
I am a landscape person, and I am here to report. So basically, I'll touch on two things. The things that we've done since the last time we talked, and then the things we'll do from now until when we see each other again. We did our second round of pre-emergent and weed control. We're doing that through True Green. I'm subbing that out, and I think they're doing a really good job. They have people with PhDs that really study this, and this is a field. I've told Janie this. It's like it's a science, and like I don't know the whole science, and so I've been working with them over the past 2 years, and I've seen good results from them, and I really like them. So they were out May 19th and did their second round of FERT and weed control. So we're going to get one more fertilization in June, and then we don't touch the grass in July, August, September, kind of late September, early October. We'll start coming in, we'll do another FERT, and then we start doing fall pre-emergence to keep the winter weeds down. That's how the contract goes. That's all kind of weather dependent, and it's usually in October, not late September. That's the way it's been the past few years, but I like to say it like that. It could be the end of September. We have finished the sod and turf renovations that you guys approved in the parks. We've aerated, top dressed, installed new sod where the sod had been damaged from freeze and drought. And I put on my notes, it's complete, but the sod farms got rained out over the weekend, so it's going to be Thursday. I owe you one pallet of grass, and then it will be complete. I couldn't get the grass today, so that'll be done on Thursday, and that will finish Fern Bluff Park, Friendly, Cheatham's. I think that's it.
Did we put any in veterans? No.
Oh yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Half a pallet.
it was
on the
veterans.
hillside.
That's right. On
And
that little
veterans.
berm. Yeah.
So that'll be done on Thursday. So that's what we've done since I last saw you. For the month of June, we're going to start mulching. I usually start mulching by doing the community center. It's the place that most people see, and it's where Janie works. And
The boss works.
I want it to look good, so I always kick off mulch here. So when you see it's freshly mulched here, you'll know that we're going to the parks and butterfly garden and everything else after that. So we're going to start mulching. That'll be June and July. I feel like Home Depot and Lowe's, they've trained us to mulch in spring and fall. And I say, you've heard me say this 100 times, Janie, but those are not the best times to mulch. your leaves are dropping in spring and fall, and the guys blow all the mulch out of the beds because they got leaves in the bed, and that's what they're trained to do, clean the beds up. So you end up losing probably 20-30% of your mulch. Janie's been nice enough to let me mulch when I feel like I should mulch, and that's the hottest and coldest months of the year.
Yeah.
So we mulch in the fall. I want all the leaves to drop. We blow out all the leaves. The trees are done dropping. You come in and mulch, and it insulates the ground from the coldest, to protect from freezing. Back it up. Now we're in summertime. The oak pollen's dropped. Now it's time to get it going. And it's the hottest time of year. So you want to insulate the hottest and the coldest. So don't mulch your yards in spring and fall. Do it in summer and winter. It's
Agreed.
much better for your landscape, and your money goes farther. When you I think there's almost 4,000 bags of mulch on this contract.
Yeah.
Each time.
Yeah.
So when you can save, if they blew out 20% of that,
That's a lot.
that's 1,000 bags of mulch that just went into the grass, that you guys are losing, and we don't like to do that. So we will start mulching in June, and we'll finish in July. So this is kind of I'll do a couple projects, mulch for a week. Do a couple projects, mulch for a week. We kind of go back and forth. It's just easier on me in my company, because to buy 4,000 bags of mulch and just send the whole company out for 3 weeks it really hits me hard. So we we'll do a job and then mulch. We'll do a job and mulch, and over the next couple months,
Doesn't beat them down.
June and also
Yeah.
to throw 4,000 bags of mulch in 100-degree
That's a lot.
heat, they're ready to quit by then too. So,
I did 10 and I thought I would die.
Janie,
I did, but yeah,
You-
thought I
you-
would die.
You actually use bag mulch, or
yeah, we use bag mulch.
why do you do that as opposed to bringing it, hauling it in with
Easier.
a trailer?
I got two reasons. One, like she said, it's easier. The guys can throw it over their shoulder and we can drop it where we need it. Two, they dump it in the parking lot. I use a machine, beats your concrete all to what. The only time Janie's ever been mad at me, I dropped gravel out in front. She walked up and was like, my skid steer was picking the gravel up. She was like, whoa, 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 whoa. I just resurfaced this 2 weeks ago. I'm like, no. Yeah, okay. So you beat up your concrete, and then also it's really not if it saved me a bunch of money and it wouldn't upset Janie, I'd do it. But by the time you use your skid steer, which isn't free, load it, move it, spread it, it's a wash.
Okay.
And this way, I can, like at the butterfly garden, I drive my truck all the way back there. And I drive it around the butterfly garden, and we dump it right where we need it. If I were an 18-wheeler, can't get back there.
Right.
So if I dumped it at Brightwater and the trailhead, I mean,
You're putting it in a trailer again
Yeah,
and then
it's just-
hauling it down. It actually looks
logistically
much better.
bagged mulch, and it's gone up. When I first took over this contract, bagged mulch for me was $1.80 a bag. Loved it. Now it's $2.50.
Inflation.
So if it saved me money, trust me, I'd do it. But it really doesn't. It's a wash, and it's just I'm running a piece of equipment. I'm also scraping up your concrete, and it's the same. So
Gotcha.
bagged mulch
Thanks.
it is.
No, that
But
makes
if
sense.
you're a homeowner and you need like a full truck, dump it in your driveway and spend the weekend shoveling it and moving it, that's that's
I've,
great.
I've done that,
yeah.
and it's.
I've done that.
I didn't have it dumped. I just had the trailer left because it was a neighbor's, but it was hard work putting it in a wheelbarrow and even in my yard.
Yeah, we
But it was-
carry 2 bags, so we can put 2 bags on our shoulder, and we can literally walk it to the bed and just drop it every more or less 5
I
feet.
think the shoveling is harder than doing
Yeah.
the bag of mulch.
Not just because when we went to the place to get it, it was like, I think I used 3 cubic cubic yards.
Yeah, that's a good amount.
It was,
So 3 cubic yards is 44 and a half bags.
okay. I just know it was like $90
half.
for the
Per cubic yard, what would that
for the
be?
3 shovelfuls. That seemed like it was cheap.
42 and a half.
That was several years ago now.
Cubic yards.
So there's 13 and a half bags in a cubic yard, so
No,
you
maybe
did
it's got, it has to be
13.5
more
times
than
3.
that. It has to be more than that. Anyway, that's neither here nor there.
That's a lot.
Thank you, but that does answer my question, though.
Yeah, happy to. So we'll start mulching. Next time I see you, we won't be done mulching, but when I see you in August, we'll be done mulching. Aerations, we still owe you guys 2 more aerations this year. We're gonna aerate I would say in the next 2 weeks, we're gonna aerate all the ball fields and get caught up. We've already done that throughout the parks, through the renovations that you guys had approved and top dressed and aerated where we needed to, but per the contract, aerations on all the ball fields, that'll be done in the next 2 weeks. You don't wanna do it in the heat of summer.
No.
You wanna do it right before. So I do it in you wanna do it, this is the thing, you wanna do it after the grass has broken dormancy, and then you don't wanna do it in the heat of the summer. And you need a month between, so it's, it's kind of like in the fall. It's like, okay, the summer has broken. Okay, we have cooler temperatures now. Now we're racing against the first freeze.
True.
So it's like spring, and then it's 100. So it's like those 2 times a year we're just kind of scrambling.
The blues.
So we're gonna do the aerations. I think in the next 2 weeks, they're saying it's gonna be hot though. I mean, I owe it to you, and we're gonna do it, but I'm not gonna do it if it's 100 degrees because it'll damage the root system of the
Yeah.
grass. If you
Yeah.
if you pull those plugs out and expose the root system of
Yeah. We couldn't put enough water down to
no,
to
well,
to help
I mean,
the
it's with the
sod.
restrictions, no.
Well, then that brings up a question because Cheatham, that grass seed didn't do very well.
I'm going back and
I know you are. So maybe we just hold on to these aerations and maybe we want to just do that seed again.
I can do that.
Let's talk about that
I can
because
do that.
don't want to damage
I'll
anything.
reshoot it. That's
Okay.
not a problem.
Yeah. That's from those gully washers that we were getting. I mean, it just didn't get its feet down. And I'm hoping right
week
now
af-
it will, but we're supposed to have a big storm tonight. Oh,
The week after we did the hydro seed there.
Yeah.
We got a 3-inch in an
Mhm.
hour rain, and there was little ripples.
Yeah.
And it just went
Washed
down
away.
and it washed all the seed away. I've gone over there and hit that with seed, but I'll reshoot that, and that's no cost to you guys. I don't mind doing that at all. And I'm still gonna do the aerations on the ball fields. I'll do this
okay. We're good.
above and
We're good.
beyond.
We'll figure
I don't mind doing that.
We'll figure it out.
I want that. I mean,
Yeah.
I want the park to look good. Bed fertilization. Been doing that all spring, but we're coming to an end with that. I think you can notice here at the community center, everything's blooming and we're happy with it. But we're doing that at the parks too, and the butterfly garden. So, but again, this is June, what I'm talking about. So after this, we won't be fertilizing the beds, the grass, the trees. We leave it alone and we pray for rain. That's the time of year we're approaching. The annuals, they look great right now, but those are springtime annuals. So in the heat, I think that this might get done between now and the time that I see you guys next. If not, it'll be the following meeting, but those petunias aren't made for heat.
No,
Some of them look
they look
amazing.
really good.
Most of them look great.
But then in a
That's why I
3
was
days
late.
time.
Cindy grabbed me in there and was like, the flowers, they look so good.
Yeah.
And that's great, but they're gonna burn out in the heat. That's a springtime annual. So per contract, you guys get a summertime annual too. So we're gonna come in and do that. That will probably happen between now and the next meeting, and you guys will obviously see it when you come up here. So that's something that's on my radar. And we'll do that at the park signs where it's appropriate. The last thing on my list is the Harryman Greenbelt project. We are starting that tomorrow.
The sign is in.
Is it? Heck yeah. You got water? Sweet.
No, you got water.
I got water.
Did y'all see this? It's double sided.
No,
Yeah.
Oh, it is double-sided?
That's
So
my next.
whichever way you go on the trail. Nice, huh?
Is it visible from the road? How close to the road is it?
It's not near the road.
It's near the trail.
It's near the trail.
Below
Down there where the parking
Oh,
is, you
road's
come
over
out of there, it's
yeah.
over there in that catty corner to cross.
I'm about to plant a bunch of flowering trees there, and we're doing a big garden. And Hector got me some water, so we're gonna have irrigation to everything. Jeremiah. Yeah, I went over there and saw him. Jeremiah had a 9-foot hole he was dealing with. I'm not sure how that ended up. I left, but
Before you fell in the hole.
yeah. Well, there was a dude in there. But yeah, that's my next project that I'm starting out here, and I think that's it. I hope I didn't blabber too much.
Looks good. I'm looking forward
Very
to see
cool.
what that looks like down there.
Me too. It's gonna look
That
good.
is a big rock.
I know. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the way we faced it, that way, regardless if you're coming down the trail or you're walking from, say, Stone Canyon's side or Olson Meadow side or coming down the trail,
See
all
both
three of those
sides.
vantage points, you see the sign. It's double. You did it on both sides, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And the way we placed it, you'll see Fern Bluff mud and know where you're at.
Sweet.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool.
Any questions from the board?
I've already asked mine. Thank you.
The only thing I'll ask is, and thanks, your report was pretty full. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Is there anything that you're seeing that is unusual for this time of year as far as trees, tree growth, plant growth, butterfly gardens, pests, anything?
I know Lake Travis is at 38%, but as far as like our groundwater and the amount of rain that we've had here, I'm like behind on the green belts. I have 3 mowers and we're putting 3 mowers out there and we are going
Okay.
full ham on it. And it's
And a lot of
so
water.
That's
it's
good to
not
Yeah.
Grew a lot in a week.
nothing bad. No, everything's growing like crazy and we're
Okay.
trying to keep up. I think that would
Okay.
be an accurate answer
Excellent.
to that.
Excellent. Very good. Well, thank
Yeah,
you, sir.
No, and again, Lake Travis is low, but as far as, you look out that window, that grass is green. I've seen that grass brown before.
Yeah.
It can be in September. Right now, we're getting good rainwater. I feel like our creeks and rivers are full, and that means stuff's growing here. For me, my judge is whenever I live in Pflugerville, so I exit O'Connor. And when I drive over, I look at that little pond there on the right.
Oh,
When that pond has water, the district is doing just fine.
that's
We're
funny.
good. When it's bone dry and there's trees growing out there, that grass won't be green out there.
That's true.
That's kind of my
Gauge.
rule of thumb.
Maybe we'll have a good summer.
Is there a pond in O'Connor?
My mom lives in Granbury and they're releasing water from all their lakes.
Says
They're
about a pond
they're
in
like
O'Connor.
basically flooded out.
It's
Everything's full.
That area of Texas really got.
We need Burnett. We need Buchanan. We need all. It
Yeah.
doesn't need to be here. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Highland Lakes.
obviously it's the Highland. We've
Mhm.
got to get the rain up.
Yeah.
Mason and
Yeah,
San Saba and all those places that feeds into the upper lakes.
that's exactly right.
And then they can release the water down to Travis.
Yeah.
That's
Travis
That's
is
what we
bad.
need.
Even Buchanan, though, they're up to like close to 80%, I think.
yeah, they got
If I saw. So they're up, but they're
they
not.
need to quit being stingy. All right.
Shoot some our way.
All right.
Excellent. Thank you.
That's all
Thank
I
you,
have.
Brian. Appreciate it very
Yeah.
much.
Anything else?
have a
Very
great
much
day.
appreciate
Thank
it. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Go Mavs.
Go.
And stars.
There you
Wow.
you. That's funny.
go. All right. Consent agenda. Is there anything that needs to be removed from the consent agenda?
No. I want to stay on Parks Committee for just a minute, Ken.
Oh, yeah. Okay, do that.
So the Parks Committee has been discussing, and we've obviously y'all approved Veterans Park Playscape, the renovation down there, but we're down to the wire and we need to pick our color schemes. Of course, wide open with colors. What do we want to do? Right now, we've got the green, the beiges, and the tans. That's what our playscapes all are. There's two schools of thought. You want to have every park a different color scheme, or you want the continuity, so that when people drive around, oh, this is a Fern Bluff Park. This is a Fern Bluff Park. The colors are similar, but of course the play equipment will be different in every park. So we've pretty much narrowed it down. Is that a good way to put it, Rich? The issue is that Fern Bluff, we're known for our green logos. We have park benches all in the green, our picnic tables, our pavilion roofs. So we have to incorporate some green. I mean, unless we're going to go change out every park, but because I think it would look like unplanned. It's like, well, wait, we have all this green and now you're heading towards blue. So we've come down to two different color schemes. And I think the committee is kind of leaning towards different shades of green, using kind of our dark green, but then doing some of the brighter green, the limons, a kind of a grasshopper kind of green, or starting to incorporate some blue in it. In other words, predominantly green, but then blue post. Does anybody on the board have a strong opinion about this?
No, I was thinking red, white, and blue, but green's good.
Green's good. Well, we're Fern Bluff, green, Fern, whatever.
So burn orange is out, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
So is maroon.
And maroon
Here we
also,
go.
that's
Here we go.
right.
Yeah, he really advocated for it. So we want it to be different, so people recognize, obviously, that everything is different, and all the playscape, of course, will be different in every park. So none of you have. No.
I don't have a strong opinion.
You have to call
Well, I
it
think
give an
I
opinion.
think the color scheme should be consistent throughout all the parks. So, I mean, if, I know this is the first one that we're renovating, but at the same time, all the other parks are already kind of a green beige kind of color scheme, then, I think we've got to, and we don't have to, but I think it's a good idea to incorporate the green, the forest green or the dark green with, it doesn't have to be beige. It can be gray. It can be white. It can be, I know green and kind of like a dusty purple go well together.
What we're thinking, and I don't know if y'all can see this far, it's basically shades of these greens. See these four colors?
and definitely not the bottom two.
Oh, those are nice. They're very for kids. But
And
come and look at the color schemes. Let me pass these around.
that's
you
another
had-
question that
Yeah.
I was going to ask. I think that at the last meeting, one of something that was brought up was that there were experts that said something about colors and color schemes and
That's
stuff
exactly
like that.
right. And that's why some of those greens there are very attractive. Have you been over to Pepper Rock Park? It's over in Brushy Creek.
Yeah.
That's that lemon green. It's a bright green.
It pops.
It pops. There's different color palettes. The problem is it's finding what goes with the color palettes. And we could do a scheme that has the greens and the browns in it. In other words, maybe do the post in the brown and then do other shades of green. But we really need to pick what is our predominant color, if continuity is the way we want to go.
Kind of the brand.
Our
The
brand.
brand
There you
color.
go. Our brand. And our brand for 30 something years has been green. which is it's a natural color, whatever. I just wanted to, I think the Parks Committee, we've really struggled with this, batted it back and forth, but I just wanted to make sure none of the directors had a strong feeling about anything. What I said this at the last meeting, and I'll say it one more time. It's very personal. Colors are so very personal, with all of the research I've done and all the parks that I've been to, and I've been to a lot of them, red parks to me aren't, they're just not good. They look like dangerous, like stop signs and, that kind of thing. But all the other colors, they're good. But a lot of people use red in their playgrounds as well. I think the other question is, all of our parks, except for Olson Meadows Park, are pretty much surrounded by homes. And so there's a thought that you don't want something glaring, and we want something that sort of blends in, but is attractive and that kind of thing. I don't think we would want a purple playscape on Brightwater Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? So being conscious of our neighbors that are around there too.
Well, I think that's important too, because, I drive by Veterans Park literally every single day, multiple times a day. And there is, while I notice it, there's nothing that stands out about it. Now, if it was like red and pink and green and yellow and whatever, I'd be like, that just doesn't fit in. So, I mean, I would say when I looked at the pictures, I like the green and the blues. Like I said, green and a not a bright standout in your face purple, but I know green and kind of a dusty, kind of a softer purple, those colors kind of go together. But as long as the primary color is green and not highlighter green, not lime green, I mean, if those are accents on it, that's one thing.
They will be.
But, it
Well, and then when
needs-
we started
it needs
talking
to
about
blend in with
the
the
neighborhood.
landscape.
And we want kids to go, yeah, I want to go to the park. And I want to go to the park. I want to go to this park. Now it's I want to go to the park with this tree. I want to go to the park that's there by the school. And the school's new playground that they put in is all blues. So us being a little bit different sort of differentiates that as well. Okay, that's all I wanted to say. If y'all don't have a,
So that kind of takes the blue off the table for me.
does it? Okay, we'll talk to Jessica. And I think that's where we're going to go. Y'all approved it last month. This is the final thing. We've got to pick the color. And that doesn't say that even at different parks, we can have our color scheme, but it can be used in different ways in the parks. But there's a consistency there, which I think that's kind of Fern Bluff, my opinion.
All right.
Okay, that's all I got.
All right. Now let's get to the consent agenda. Do we have
Okay,
anything
sorry.
to remove from the consent agenda?
I do not.
Do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda? Motion by Director Barnes to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Second by Director Smith. All in favor? Motion carries 4-0. All right. Next item on the agenda, item number 7, May 4th, 2024 Director's Election. We have 3 directors who have been reelected, who had no opponents file against them in the election. So each of those 3 directors has done their sworn statement, has sworn their oath, and legal. Mr. Attorney, what else do we need to do?
You're firing on all cylinders, Mr. President. That's the long and short of it. They have submitted their oaths of office, which I've reviewed and notarized. Also reviewed your statements of officers. I find them to be in good shape and form, and we'll file them with the Texas Secretary of State as required. And once we get the time-stamped copies back, I'll file those into the district's records. Just as a reminder, once the board votes to accept the oaths and statements, that will be my cue to revise and file with TCUQ a updated district registration form, as we're required to do anytime the district's officers change. That includes elected and other officers. That's
Very
it.
good.
That's it. Mr. President. Just need a
if-
motion and a second.
If we can get a motion to accept the oaths of office and statement of officers.
I'd like to make that motion
Motion by Director Smith,
if I'm allowed.
I'll second it.
second by Director Barnes. All in favor? All right.
Or would you be curious to know that you're the one who made the motion 2 years ago as well?
That's
Feel like
Score.
He's the
Feel like-
model of efficiency.
Does it feel like Groundhog's Day?
Well, until you said
I
that.
think he was wearing the same shirt too.
We all have our rules.
Yeah, wearing a bomber shirt.
Is the revised district registration form a ministerial thing, or do we need to
Yes,
vote
sir.
on it? Okay.
Yes, sir. I will take care of that
All
as
right.
required.
So at this point, we need to reconstitute the board of directors. We need, okay, Director.
Yeah, I'd like to just make a motion that we keep the board as it is today, unless there's an objection, of course. So I make that motion that we just leave things as they are for now.
Okay, so Dr. Smith's motion is to accept George Sabatino as president of the board, Mark Smith as vice president, Jessica Stemko as secretary, Kevin Barnes as treasurer, and Director Horton as assistant secretary and treasurer. Do we have a second for
I'll
that?
second that.
Second by Director Horton. All in favor? All right, motion carries 4-0. All right, congratulations, newly re-elected directors.
Thank you.
All right, that brings us roads committee. What do we have for roads? Anything new?
I have no updates.
No updates. Let's move on. Time for the general manager's report and operations report.
My report is on page 31. We'll probably talk about this in legal. Do you think the wastewater agreement or no?
I don't have anything, but if the board's got questions about it, we can certainly go in under advice of the legal counsel, but I don't have anything personally.
Okay. In the packet was a draft. I jumped the gun on that before Zach and I had really finalized that. So there's a handout for the board of the revised draft between Fern Bluff Mud and Brushy Creek Mud for maintenance of a section of our wastewater line. The board can approve it. This is what we talked about, I think at the last meeting? It was the last meeting.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, it's maintenance cost and such for the, let's go ahead and put a descriptor. A wastewater line that we share with Brushy Creek Mud. Anyway, the draft did not have some of the language in there that it needed to have in there. I was trying to hurry and get things done last week. I should never do that. So this just specifies that the terms of the 30-something, 37-year-old agreement are still valid. We're removing the section that requires a wastewater meter for us to determine flows. Wastewater meters are inherently an absolute nightmare. And at this point in time, after this many years, there's just no reason to install one. Brush Creek Mud is fine with that. We're really good with that. And the cost, maintenance repairs, it will be on a prorated basis, depending on which segment of the wastewater line the repairs are needed. As we talked about at the last meeting, we do have some manholes that we need to have inspected and may need some rehab work. But it's not something critical right now. It's just we're kind of in the planning stage to know where we are, so we know what kind of deferred maintenance we need to budget for. So Brushy Creek is fine with the draft. Zach and their attorney worked it out. So that's what I have. The only other thing was he went through all the parks. Our sign is in. We have had some hiccups, and I'm sure y'all have all heard about them in our trash and recycle collection with Republic. I'm not surprised. You always have some issues when you change vendors. But somehow there was kind of a consistent problem with the Oakbrook Glen area. Somehow that map just kept, I don't know, falling off their radar. And then the far end of Morgan Hill.
The far end of O'Connor.
Of
Not O'Connor, Morgan Hill, you're right. I mean,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
second
Morgan Hill.
O'Connor, Yeah.
But then they missed the Glen a couple of times. I just want to let the board know I'm working very closely with our liaison, our rep there at Republic. And this week it went well. No one was skipped. I think it's
Good.
It's done, but I'll let you know if it continues.
Very
That's
good.
all I have.
Excellent. And people are calling that into the general manager's office.
Oh, yes.
They're letting you know. Okay.
Oh,
Well,
yes.
no, they're keeping us honest. That's good.
Yes.
You're
We need to
keeping-
know.
you're
We need to
keeping
know.
Face- You're keeping Facebook
Yeah.
active too.
We need, and I'm very happy that they call,
Yeah.
And I will say this, Republic, when they can, they've been very responsive. And even if it means working late until almost dark, they do come back and try to service those areas, or they're back the next day. We've had a few hiccups that didn't get corrected right away, but many of them, if a street was missed, far end of Morgan Hill, that type of thing. But they're trying, and they have, I think, corrected some of their mapping. It is an oddity, the way Oakbrook is completely surrounded by Brushy Creek mud. I mean, it is just an oddity, So I just want y'all to know that we have had some issues.
Okay.
I know you know.
Very good.
I get
Jenny,
beat up
did you-
before you do.
Jenny, I'm sorry. Did you want to go ahead and have them vote on the amendment to the O&M operation maintenance agreement for the water line, or are we holding off on that?
No,
Sorry.
let's
I
do that
am
now.
fine with it. I am completely
Yeah.
fine with the agreement. It is exactly what we talked to
Okay.
and agreed with Brushy Creek General Management. The attorneys seem to be fine with it. So if the board is fine with us moving forward with that 30-something-year-old agreement amended,
Right.
then I would love for y'all to vote on it.
All right. Yeah. And we're talking about it now. We brought it up in the general manager's report. So if anyone would like to make a motion to approve the First Amendment to operating and maintenance agreement between Fern Bluff Mud and Brushy Creek Mud, I'm open to hearing a motion.
Okay, I'll make the motion.
All right. Motion by Director
As
Smith
stated.
to approve the First Amendment to operating maintenance agreement between Fern Bluff Mud and Brush Creek Mud.
I'll second that.
Second by Director Horton. All in favor? Motion carries 4-0. Thank you, everybody.
Thank y'all very much.
Do you need to sign a copy tonight?
Jenny, do you want me to handle the paperwork on that
would love
with
that.
Tony? Okay. Yes, sir.
I did like the name.
You'll
Brushy
need to
Hollow.
sign it. I'll need to get a clean copy for you. Well, you have one.
I've got
You
one.
can just sign that.
I'll sign this one.
We're gonna need Jessica anyway. I've got another form I need her to sign.
Oh,
So-
okay,
and
then
since
give
I
it to
already-
me and I'll
yeah,
get a signature
rather
from
than-
Jessica and send it to you.
Normally I would just have Richard sign it, but otherwise we just need to reprint the document.
Yeah, okay.
And you're gonna need to talk to her anyway for the other signature.
Need to what?
I'm sorry, you'll need to get her signature on another form anyway, so rather than scribbling all over this one.
That's
You
perfectly
okay with
fine.
that? Okay.
Okay, I'll get them both. So I need Jessica to sign.
All right. Mr. Operator, anything in your end of the district?
Just actually one, you got a letter from TCEQ today.
Is
Bad
it a
news, good
good
news.
letter or is it a
Yeah,
bad
well,
letter?
We had an inspection for our MS4 permit on the 25th of April, few days after our last meeting. So we did receive a notice of violation.
Okay.
Kind of interesting. We allegedly failed to create opportunities for citizens participation. So that's the bad news. The good news is because we don't have a current permit with the state of Texas, we promise that we will address it on our next permit whenever it may come out. So they gave us here's a violation. It's resolved. It's all good. So
Okay.
Just can you send me a copy of that, please?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
I mean, typically the multiple public notices that we put on our agendas cover that. If you recall, we had it on our agenda for what, 4 or 5
Explain what they
months?
were saying.
But are they looking for here's our website, and if you want to get involved, you can come down and
It's
that
more
type
of
stuff.
an actual event type situation that they're looking for.
yeah.
So like
You
if
know,
a Eagle Scout wants to put a stamp on all of the,
Yep.
point out where all
Yes.
the drains are,
Yes.
something like that.
That's what they got.
Yes.
Okay.
Or
Community cleanup.
have staff actually, do a weekend or some kind of event type of situation.
How we
So-
keep your water safe kind of event kind of thing.
Okay. I thought you were saying like they were accusing us of like
Oh,
having no
no.
public hearing on it. And I'm
No,
going,
no.
Okay.
That's all
Yes,
all
it's
covered.
all-
We're
Yeah.
good. It's just
So I take it that's a new requirement?
It's not.
It's not?
Well, it's
No.
with this version of the permit, they started what 5 years ago with that
my
version of the
gosh,
permit.
our permit's already expired, so I mean
Yeah.
we're operating without a permit. So yeah, like we'll be fine. Last permit was the way staff was reading it was that portion itself was optional, so we opted not to do it. And the inspector that inspected us just kind of didn't like it. He's like, yeah, no, it needs to be in there. So I was like, okay, we'll do it on next permit. So I mean, no harm, no foul. We're fine. So, but yeah, and just to circle back on the agreement with Brushy Creek, the plan is to have an inspector come in and check all the manholes Thursday and Friday of this week. So hopefully soon we'll have an assessment of those manholes and put a cost associated to that assessment, and then pass that on to Brushy Creek, and we'll kind of.
And we've already done an assessment where they're formal and informal, and so is Brushy Creek, right? And now this is just to get an inspector to look at it? Is that the deal?
We do our 5-year inspections and stuff. We know that those manholes need to be addressed.
Okay.
So the assessment's going to be, okay, how bad is it? How soon do we need to do it? And how much is it going to cost?
Oh, okay,
So,
okay.
so that way we can start the
That's
process.
going to generate action items
budgeting.
for us in Brushy Creek.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But other than that, I mean, our pumps at Oak Brook Pump Station are starting to ramp up and start. So, I mean, you can tell the heat is starting to, take its toll on irrigation water. So,
Okay.
yeah. But that should be expected for this time of year.
Okay.
We're fine. We continue our maintenance. We had a leak on Monday. Was it yesterday? Sunday.
Memorial Day?
I
Was
think it was.
Sunday or yesterday?
I think it
I
was.
can't look on I don't have
Anyway,
my phone.
Within the last couple of days,
I got a phone call. Yeah.
somebody hit our flushing unit and just kind of had a little
Spurting.
small stream. We addressed it fairly quickly.
Yeah,
no
we
big
did.
deal. So, but,
Um,
small potatoes.
About water restrictions, so Stillhouse Hollow's above full. We got another one above full, but Travis is low, and Round Rock won't change the water restrictions until Travis comes up. Is that a correct understanding?
That sounds about right.
Okay.
Right now,
Okay.
Round Rock is where Round Rock is, and I don't think they're going to be moving anytime.
I think they're
Too soon.
trying to keep the 2-day a week as long as they can
Okay.
to not have a crisis like we have in years past, that we have to go to 1 day a week.
Got it. All right.
That's my understanding.
Okay.
And most landscapes do just fine with twice a week watering.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other board members have questions? All right, let's move on. Next item, Budget Committee. Director Barnes, do we have anything for Budget Committee?
The only thing that we really have is that
we are going to start the budget process in the next couple of weeks. Hopefully, we will have some kind of draft budget to present either at the June meeting or at least the July
Yeah,
meeting
maybe July.
for us to start looking at. So,
Good deal.
Janie, have we gotten any new valuations in from
I do,
WCAG?
I do. And we, certain areas of the district have gone down. We all know that. I mean, we've all seen our, have y'all gotten your notices? Or
Oh, yeah.
your,
Mine went up.
William? It's very odd in the ones where they've gone down. But we haven't had huge increases like we have. Last year was very much I think a leveling, because we really went up the prior year. Last year, we all went down a little bit. Now, it's just very strange to see where some of the increases are. A lot of it's based on where there's, home sales and that type of thing. So yes, overall, the district went up some, not a dramatic increase.
Very good. All right, that's it for
I have
budget.
preliminary numbers. They're not certified numbers or anything. I won't get those until July, but we can go ahead and, whenever you guys want to
Start getting
get in with the
ideas.
budget. Hector, of course, has already gotten our budget framework ready for us. We just need to start plugging in our numbers.
Very good. All right, how about the District Community Center Committee? Anything to report?
I don't.
All right. Deed Restriction Committee. We have, well, item B is a deed restriction violation. That one's resolved, I believe.
That's correct.
Okay. Nothing else to report there? I don't have anything. Director Horton?
No, we had some approval requests come in and were approved, and like you said, the other matters, like it's been resolved.
Very good. Very good. Director Barnes, Security Committee. Do you have
I
anything?
do not have anything. Do you have anything?
I have nothing. Nothing to report. Communications Committee, Director Smith.
Yeah, newsletter went out earlier this month that we discussed at the last meeting. And I think we'll target, unless something comes up, we'll target the next one for July. Maybe every, once a quarter or once every 2 months, something like that, depending on what's going on in the world of Fern Bluff.
I don't normally get a lot of feedback about the newsletter, except every once in a while I'll get an email that says, why do y'all put this whole thing in your email? I guess, I would cut and paste to put the whole newsletter. So I thought, okay, this time I'll just put a link, and put a link on the website, put a link in the MailChimp that goes out. I got one complaint saying, I don't click on links, and I don't want you to
That's fair.
put the newsletter in there. So going forward,
That's fair.
does the board have, because I get complaints both ways. So,
Well, I would just, we'll keep status quo. And if you get a complaint, you say, we've had complaints that when we put the links in there. So, we'll put a link in for you, at the bottom, says, see this newsletter on our website or somewhere in there. And that way they can click on it and get it that way.
so you want to
have to
do
read
the
through it
whole
to get to it.
newsletter in the MailChimp? That's
I
my
would
question.
rather do that.
I
Okay,
think that's more effective than having, because a lot of people won't click. Either they don't see it or they just won't click on it to get the information.
not a link.
Like I said, we can put at the very bottom, in closing, to review this newsletter on our website, here's a link. So we can do both.
Go find
Yeah,
it
I think
yourself.
that's
I
a
just
good
thought,
point.
because I had never heard anything on the other side, and I thought, okay.
Yeah.
I only got 3 complaints. Let's just be honest here. But it's like, okay, that is a lot of verbiage that's coming across in an email. Maybe they would rather just be told that it's there and they can go look at it at their leisure or whatever.
Right.
So 3 to 1, I guess.
Yeah, 'cause
We'll
I
put the
know-
whole newsletter in there.
I know you put a link in for the CT, the
Mm-hmm.
coalition article part.
Yes.
So, but
I'll go back in and put that entire newsletter on the website. I mean, well, it's on there, but I'm saying in a latest news, I will do that.
Okay. So, like I said, July or August, it'll be the next one, depending on what's happening, if there's anything newsworthy that we want to put out, et cetera.
Okay, fair enough.
So as security goes, and speaking of links and emails, I saw I got an email from fumarcigarsinc.com that says something about a court order. That looks like spam. So you probably don't want to
Don't
read
click on
one.
that link.
Yeah.
I mean, fair. I
Oh.
mean, I mean, I totally get it.
I mean, if we're talking about like emails and communication, I got something from the Census Bureau, like about something about like reporting something. So, I mean, I looked at the link. The link looked legit. So then it started asking me things like how many employees and how many. And I was like, well, that's
It's not your
You
job.
know,
that's
Yeah,
that's too much.
I get a lot of spam. People are phishing through because our
Yeah.
emails are on the website, and hey, come to our water
Yeah.
convention, or I get spam like that, not from the Census Bureau, but I've gotten other things too. We just got to delete them.
Yeah.
If it's not from any of you
Our
folks,
recommendation,
it's out.
don't click on anything.
Right.
They look so good. Just don't. If we are going to send out something that's not a normal email from us, we will let you know that. Fair? Because you are right, Mark. And we've got really strong spam filters and they're still getting by that.
And I know,
Phishing filters.
I know on
spam
all,
filters.
I mean, I got 6 email accounts, and I know on all of them, all you have to do is look at the email, who's to, and it's typically not you.
right.
Yeah.
Blank.
Typically, it's not blank.
Yeah.
It's not you. It's like the Jonesy,
Or the
somebody.
from. The from is also a big key because
Yeah.
they'll say, I am
So-
with the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality, but their from doesn't have that in their email
Right,
address.
it's a Gmail
So
or
you,
something.
that's right.
Yeah.
And so you know it's just bogus.
Those are easy ones, but unless it's coming from one of you folks, I'm usually just, I will take a quick look to make sure, but most of the time it's just,
Well, except Hector. I don't open Hector's email.
Straight to trash.
Does it? Yes.
From office of the president.
She'll yell at me instead.
Hey, Hector. That's our intercom.
So now that I'm thinking about it, along the lines of communication, consumer confidence report
Oh, yeah.
due by July 1st of every year. We're just about done with ours. Hopefully it'll go out tomorrow, no later than Friday. So just want to let the board know. You'll MailChimp, bill message,
Mhm.
and it'll be on the website. So for anybody listening in YouTube world, it's coming out. So
All right.
everything looks good too. So we're good.
Okay. All right, that's it for communications. Next item is attorney's report. We've got 2 pieces of litigation. There's no status change in either of those
No,
since the
sir.
last meeting.
No, sir.
I don't see the need to go into executive session. Does board feel like we need legal advice on anything? Either the 2 pieces of litigation or any of the pending things? No? Okay, good. Attorney's report is done. Confirm next meeting date, June 25th. Anyone have any conflicts that they know about? A reason to change the meeting?
June 25th. Nope, I'll be back.
Looking good? All right.
Oh, actually, I will. Yeah, I'm good.
You're good? Okay. All right, book it, June 25th, next meeting. Future agenda items. Possibly some budget stuff.
I may have some additional park plans we're almost finished with Brightwater and Fern Bluff, and the committee will,
Veterans.
huh?
Veterans.
Veterans is done. We're ordering it. It will hopefully, we're shooting for install at Veterans by the end of this year. If we can get it earlier, if landscape structures, I mean, that's how far out orders are, okay? So anything that we're doing now, for Brightwater, Fern Bluff Park or whatever, we will be into 2025. But the quicker we can say, yeah, this is a go, the better we are. Because when fall comes and everybody's back in the schools and everything, orders kind of kick up. So we'll just keep trudging along and try to get as much as we can done so that a lot of our installs will be happening in early 2025. I would say probably January is always very questionable, but maybe the whole spring of 2025.
Are all the playscapes about the same size? Because I know I was walking
No.
in Olson, and there was quite a bit of equipment in Olson.
There's two different playscapes. Fern Bluffs is much larger. We're trying as much as possible to stay within the general footprint of each park, okay? We can't, there's gonna be changes. We're gonna have to be changing irrigation, but if we go well outside of our designated areas, then that could cause some engineering issues that we would need to have done. But staying within our footprint, we will be fine with. Texas Parks and Wildlife, I've already talked to them. We're good to go with all of that. It's just equipment is much different than it was in the 1990s.
We talked about a little small departure at Fern Bluff, and there is a small change at Friendly Oaks.
That's correct.
Right.
That's correct. And Brightwater, where we lost our big tree, the committee is thinking that would probably be a perfect place to put a younger play set, like 2 to 5, and then a 5 to 12, where our current playscape is, to keep some separation there. One thing that we're talking about at Fern Bluff Park, and I don't know, will it be feasible and will it be cost effective? I don't know. But the biggest thing that came out of the survey is that people really, really want a
Sunshade.
zip line. So in the footprints that we currently have, zip line would be best at either Olson or at Fern Bluff in the soccer field, because that soccer field really isn't used anymore.
Well,
And it's a big open space. I know.
and
And we want to keep some open space, but that would be kind of the perfect place to do it. Unfortunately, it's back behind the pavilion, so it's kind of hidden. It's just something that we're talking about. We looked at Olson Meadows, but because Olson Meadows is so out in the open, it gets a lot more vandalism. And so that might not be one of the best places to put one. But the Parks Committee's looking at all of it. And they're making really good recommendations for us too. So I was hoping we had enough room because we're taking the sand volleyball pit out. And I just want to warn the board, 50% of our residents will probably celebrate and shoot off fireworks when we get rid of that sand. The other 50% are going to be unhappy because it's little toddlers like to play with the trucks and that kind of thing. But we are to the point with the sand. If we were to keep it, we would need to remove it all right now and put new sand in there. And it is very, very damaging to our water fountains and everything over there at the park. And it's never used for sand volleyball. It's used as a sandbox
or litter box.
or a litter box. and more, and it always heightens in the summertime. Young people are hiding things underneath the sand, sharp things. Exactly. So it is really our recommendation we take that sand pit out for a number of safety reasons. That's all I have.
Okay, no other future agenda items to note. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn by Director Barnes, second by Horton. All in favor? Motion carries 4-0. The time is 7:08. This meeting of the Fern Bluff Mud Board of Directors is adjourned.
Zach, I got a question real quick.
Yes, sir.
So, something I was thinking about driving over here. So you have been walking talk. Sorry. Walking talk.
Thank you so much. Okay, I'll get Jessica's signature. You want me to have